It's realizing that there's no essential doer entity here. There's no separate entity here. It's all just happening. And at most, there's the thought or belief in a doer. But there's no actual evidence for a doer anywhere. Now, no, I said there's no evidence for a doer. That means you can't find a doer anywhere. You can't find any evidence for a doer. But you also can't find any evidence that there's no doer. You just can't find a doer. You can't find a separate person. Does that make sense? You can't find a person. You can't find a separate entity that is initiating thoughts, that is the thinker, that is initiating actions. The author of thoughts and actions can't be found. Actions can be seen, thoughts can be seen, but where's the thinker? Where's the doer? They can't be seen. Right? So in the absence of evidence for a doer, then why believe that you're a doer? Why believe that you're a person? And by person, I mean doer. There's no evidence for it, so why are you believing it? Why relate to life in that way? There's just no evidence for the belief that we probably currently hold, that in doership, in a separate entity. So we're left in this kind of limbo. We're left in this kind of openness, open space, where we can see there's no evidence for a doer. We can see we believe in doership. We believe that we're the thinker, we're the author of our thoughts and actions, but actually there's no author, no doer can be found. So we're in this kind of place where there's just experience happening, seemingly by itself, and not knowing. So the way I've expressed this before is that there's no sense of self present. There's no belief in self, meaning that means there's no belief in self. There's no belief in separation. There's no belief in no self either. There's no belief in non-separation. And then we're left with sort of nothingness, or an sort of not knowingness, just what's happening, just what is, without forming any beliefs about what is. And then it's just kind of miraculous life happening. But we're not getting enmeshed in all the dogma and all the beliefs. We're not trying to say, oh, is there a self? Is there no self? Because we don't know. And how can we know? We know, all we can know is very little. And someone like me, who's read a lot of books and has, in this body-mind, this mind has accumulated a lot of knowledge about various spiritual teachings, because that was my seeking journey. So it can appear like, oh gosh, Tom knows loads of stuff. He's really well qualified as a teacher because he knows all these spiritual teachings. He's studied Vedanta and Buddhism for over 20 years and he's meditated lots. And yeah, I've got like a long spiritual CV. But really, that's not what this is about. If anything, that long spiritual CV has given me confidence in the fact that I don't know very much. Does that make sense? It's given me confidence that actually a lot of these things are not knowable, or there's no evidence for them, because we've got to follow the evidence here. We can be like scientists. We don't have to believe anything. We just follow the evidence. If there's no evidence for something, then why are we believing in it? It doesn't matter if 100 people have said it. It doesn't matter if 100 gurus or 100 teachers or 100 scriptures have said it. If there's no evidence for it, why are we believing it? We don't have to. This is all part of freedom. Freedom from dogma, freedom from belief. And then we can be open. There's an openness there. Please can you comment about this? Doership, non-doership, free will, no free will. You're left with nothing, a bit scary. There's a fear there. And then later on you said you're left with nothing, a bit scary. It's a bit scary. But why? There's a fear there. The fear usually is of disappearance or of annihilation. Annihilation means you disappear. So it's a fear of losing something. It's a fear of losing what you have. That's usually what it is. You're afraid that something's going to change and it's going to become worse. Yeah? You're afraid that it's going to be negative in some way. Now, the first thing to point out is that we're not actually losing anything real. This is, when I say there's no doer, it's just describing the way things already are. It's the description of the way things already are. There's no one here. There's already no one here, so you don't have to worry. You know, it's like saying there's no volcano god. There's no one inside the volcano. You know? Now that might be scary for some people. It's like, gosh, if there's no volcano god, and there's no one controlling the volcano, that's pretty scary. Because before I was praying to the volcano god and giving offerings and money and food to the volcano gods to keep the volcano god sweet, to make sure it doesn't erupt. And now you're telling me there's no volcano god? That is freaking scary. Yeah, because the illusion of control is taken away. So it can be scary. But the reality is that this is the reality. It was like this all along. So you're not actually losing anything. You're just coming to touch with reality. Now that can be painful. It's like, if we take the Santa Claus example again, the Father Christmas example, it's like realizing that Father Christmas doesn't exist. You're not actually killing Father Christmas. You're not finding Father Christmas and killing him. You're just realizing that he never existed, that it was an illusion, a fantasy. Now, if you're very attached to that fantasy, it can be a painful wake-up call. But there's freedom there, because ultimately there's no suffering when that's realized. The friction is taken out of the machine and everything just works a bit nicer. There will still be ups and downs, but it doesn't matter so much. It's unconditional. You can't really, what's happening is what's happening. The resistance isn't there because there's no belief in doership. Things are just seen to happen as they happen. And the body-mind responds in the way it responds, with the level of intelligence that it has. There might be a difficult transition. There might be some fears that come up. You might be afraid of disappearing, of losing control, but realize actually what's happening is you're just coming into contact with reality. You don't have to be afraid. And the awareness teachings can become very useful here. The awareness teachings say that there's that part of you which is just aware and untouched by all of this. And if you can come into that contact with that part of you that is always untouched and whole and complete and untouched by any of this, like the cinema screen is untouched by the movie, then that can give you a lot of reassurance that no matter what happens, as perception, as awareness, you're always here. The perceiver's not going anywhere. It's just the belief in the separation that goes. And hopefully you can look at someone like myself who claims to embody this realization and see that I'm pretty normal and I'm okay. You know, I'm not going through an existential crisis, so don't worry. So I hope I can reassure you on that front.